Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to a video about Danganronpa that we decided to make
series.
because we've been playing through all those games and stuff, and we figured it might be a good idea to kind of have a video explaining our thoughts on everything. Plus, we saw the Danganronpa 3 anime, and if you weren't there for the watch parties, you missed out. They were fun, but
it was a good time. I had popcorn.
Yeah, it's true. And so we watched that, and we know how this whole thing kind of wraps up. And again, since we have no way of like streaming the anime legally, so we're like, oh, let's just do a video talking about it. But while we're talking about that, might as well talk about like the whole what was it, Hope's Peak Saga or whatever it's called.
I didn't even realize that like this is like a saga, I guess. Like
I didn't either. I thought like V3 was still like part of all this stuff, like the other game, and then it's like, no, that's a whole nother thing. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
Oh, the naming convention's confusing.
Yeah, that's Japanese games for you, man. Like it's like Kingdom Hearts. So like I don't know. I played 1 and 2 and 3, and I'm confused. Yeah, well, before we get into it, obviously, major spoilers for Danganronpa 1, 2, Ultra Despair Girls, and the Danganronpa 3 anime. If you're not caught up with that stuff and you want to experience it yourself, do that first, and then you can come back here. But otherwise, we're going to be talking about that stuff. Mostly, this isn't going to be like a in-depth summary video. It's going to be more us talking about our thoughts and feelings on the different games, and the anime is kind of the big focus, since, if you want to see our like real-time reactions to the games, those videos are on the channel, so you can watch that stuff if you haven't already. But this way we can talk about the anime too. So
animes. Yeah.
Great. Yes, well, then let's get right into it. We started with Danganronpa 1, Trigger Happy Havoc. What was that game?
What a fucking game that was.
I should mention too, we right before recording this, we watched like a 10-minute summary video, because like it's been a while since we played Danganronpa 1 and 2 for that matter, so we needed a little bit of a refresher, but
and mine, so no, Stop it. I hate when I do that. I agree with myself. Whatever.
So let me ask you. So real quick, a major shout out to Panic Lizard, who was the original one to recommend this series to us to stream and all that, and it's been quite a ride. But I gotta ask you, what did you think Danganronpa was when Panic recommended it?
I honest to God, I didn't know what to kind of expect. At first I thought it was gonna be like a platformer or something. I'm just like, I don't know, man, this is what these kids are like nowadays, right? Platformers and things like that. And then we start playing, and I'm like, oh, okay, hey, this is some anime shit. And then the story just went places, and I'm like, oh, it is this kind of anime shit. Okay. A lot of death and people.
Yeah, see, I kind of figured it was going to be like a visual novel type of thing. Because, when Panic recommended it and I added the games to my wish list, I was just kind of like looking at the images and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a visual novel, sure. But because the first game was like Trigger Happy Havoc, I'm like, so it's a visual novel that has to do with shooting people, I guess? Because like I saw images of you like walking down a hallway, so I'm like, oh, maybe it's like a visual novel plus like a rail shooter or something. I have no idea.
Oh, that would be kind of cool, actually.
I actually think it would be. Like, I would not mind if V3 went that route. I think that'd be interesting. But it turns out then it's just like this big like crazy murder mystery thing. Like it is a visual novel, but it has gameplay aspects to it, which I'll talk about, because I think I've been pretty vocal about being not too in love with the trials in these games, but.
So like full disclosure, Mike was the one who like played it all. Yeah. So I just sat there. Mike did everything.
Yeah, arguably Brian got the best experience because he could just kind of like experience the games and like voice act and have fun, whereas I had to be behind the wheel and like that wasn't always super fun. But yeah, I guess just like general summary. So the first game, you're the main character Makoto Naegi, and you're starting your high school life at Hope's Peak Academy. And the idea behind Hope's Peak Academy is it's like this school for like all these ultimate students who have ultimate talents of some sort, and they could be whatever, like the weirdest shit ever. You could be the ultimate fucking nose picker, and it seems like you'll get invited to Hope's Peak Academy. But
hey man, you picked that nose real good.
Yeah. But besides just like ultimate students, they also have like a lottery for like a rando student who could go into, and this is quote unquote like the ultimate lucky student, and that ended up being Makoto. So Makoto, other than being lucky, supposedly has no fucking talent, and he's just like, I don't think I belong here. But anyway,
he's just a nobody, a loser.
Well, that's what I love about these games, because like I think it was the same thing with Hajime too in the beginning of Danganronpa 2. But like both those characters, they start out and they're like, I'm a loser nobody with no friends and no special abilities at all. And you're like, great.
Yeah,
love the
Hajime
confidence.
is just like Hajime I felt more was like an introvert, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and you see more of that with the Danganronpa 3 anime, I feel like, because I feel like in Danganronpa 2, Hajime, and maybe it's just because they weren't exactly sure how all that stuff was going to wrap up, but like Hajime just kind of seemed like a normal like protagonist dude in Danganronpa 2. He seemed like a normal dude. He definitely seems smarter than Makoto, I'll say that much.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Makoto. I'm sorry, I think he's stupid. I legitimately think
Makoto's an idiot. He's the fucking dumbest guy on the planet. Except for maybe Hiro. Hiro might be stupider, but more stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the anime shows Hajime, and you're like, oh, this dude's just kind of like a introvert loner kind of dude. But anyway, we'll talk about all that stuff later. Danganronpa 1, or Makoto, you go in, you're like, yay, Hope's Peak Academy, and here, I guess. And then like I guess he passes out or something.
Yeah, and then like in a classroom.
You wake up in a classroom. The fucking like windows are bolted shut. Everything's fucking weird. And then you find out you and your classmates are trapped in the school, and this crazy psycho bear named Monokuma tells you that you have to kill each other.
Monokuma!
Or you can never leave.
Kill everyone, and then you can leave.
Yeah,
basically.
So the way the killing game basically works is like the original premise here is that only one survivor can leave, you know? So like all the other students must be murdered. After a murder is done, what is it? Like if 3 people find the body, then like a little announcement goes off and it's like, we found a body!
Yeah.
And then you know, you do an investigation and then a trial to try to figure out who
done it,
the person or people. And if you figure out the murderer is punished and they get killed. And if you figure it out wrong, then everyone else but the murderer gets killed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the motivation for the killer to, like, you know, be stealthy and try to get away with it, because you want to be the last one standing, but you don't want people to know it was you killing people.
Yeah, and then to top it off, there's always like Monokuma throws in little like incentives to try to persuade people. He'll blackmail you or show you things.
Right.
Tell secrets.
Totally, because like you're probably asking yourself like, well, what if they just choose to like not kill each other and just live in the school? It's like, well, Monokuma finds ways to like motivate people to be like, hey, you know, I've got your family hostage, or I've got this secret about something that you don't want people to know, and then it's like, well, now I got a murder.
Yeah, or one was literally, hey, I'm just gonna pay you.
That's true. That was what I was like. Did you want money? little did everybody know that they were actually currently in like a post-apocalyptic world for all intents and purposes. Because as you find out throughout the game, on the outside of the school, you know, some horrible, big, tragic event happened, and the world is drenched in despair. And I know I'm not. Again, this isn't like a big detailed summary of the events of the game. We're just kind of rushing over.
We're just kind of talking about it.
Yeah. But you find out that like the Makoto and his class, you know, they're in Hope's Peak originally because they were supposed to be like, you know, survivors. Like the Kyoko's father was like the principal headmaster of the school. Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, kids, come into the school for safety because the world's so fucked." And then,
come, my children, live in the school.
Then, of course, Junko Enoshima, who's like the main villain of this whole series. She's the one who put all this into motion, but she finds out about the survivors in the school and then makes this whole killing game thing for them to kill each other. But
yeah, she's got big boobs too.
She does. She has really large breasts. You know, it's funny because I just realized watching that summary video is that her ultimate thing is that she's the ultimate fashionista.
Yeah,
and it's just like that never comes into play with anything she does.
Nothing,
does it?
Yeah,
it's not like, and it's funny because she like puts on different like personalities and voices and personas, but it's like it's not like she changes outfits or anything. Like what about her is a fashionista exactly?
Yeah, she could have been like the ultimate voice actor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember, because in Danganronpa 1, you know, one of your classmates, quote unquote, is Junko. You find out it wasn't actually Junko; it was Junko's sister pretending to be her. What was her name again? Starts with an M.
Oh gosh.
Mukuro?
Yeah, something like that. She had black hair, quiet, ultimate soldier.
Yeah, she was pretending to be Junko, but she ends up getting killed by Monokuma as part of this whole elaborate plan.
Which Monokuma is Junko, but Junko wasn't Junko because Junko was actually Monokuma. It's like Kingdom Hearts. It's easy. It's so easy.
Yeah. Because, like, Monokuma, like, the essence of Monokuma, from my understanding, is they're just little robotic teddy bears that I guess Junko is in control of. It does her fun little voice acting with.
Monokuma!
But yeah, like in the beginning of Danganronpa 1, you can interact with Junko, which is really Mukuro, but you can kind of learn more about her a little bit. And like, I remember at one point they said like, yeah, you know, she's on the cover of like magazines and stuff. And you're like, okay. And I'll get more, I'll explain more, but I just gotta say, I think one of my biggest complaints with this entire series is like, I'm gonna say I don't think Junko's a very good character. Like I'm sure there's probably in the games, if you do like after you beat the game you can go into school and just hang out with people, I'm sure you can probably learn a lot more about Junko and maybe that makes her character make more sense. But like she kind of just seems like a lol so random, like fuck the world, I want to burn it all down, but she has like no real motivation and I don't know. I don't like the way she's handled.
Yeah, to me, some of her methods are very sloppy, but I guess it's just the character. But yeah, I don't know. And again, she's supposed to be very anarchist, and I don't know. She just very lol random. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I throughout all of this, like, I still don't think I really get her character, and maybe that's the point. Yeah. Like, you made a good point, is that like she has like major like Harley Quinn / like Joker vibes.
Oh, very much. And to me, that character seems very based off of Harley.
Yeah, and I see like both in like design, you know, the blonde hair with the pigtails and stuff, but also just the fact that she's like, I'm a fucking agent of chaos or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, she just kind of seems like she was inspired by Harley Quinn and the Joker, but like perhaps the creator of Danganronpa didn't really understand what made those characters interesting and like why that like kind of worked.
Yeah, and oh gosh, yeah. See, this is the part where I want to get to where we start talking about it more about the anime. But yeah, it's just all right. I'm gonna hold.
We'll hold on. We'll get there. I'll just kind of wrap up Danganronpa 1 by saying like by the end of it, how many survivors were at the end? Like 5, 6, something like that. There was Makoto, Byakuya, Kyoko, Hiro, and Hina. Right, just them.
Yeah.
No, and Toko. So 6.
Oh, I keep forgetting about Toko. That's right.
I forget about Toko too. She was there. Yeah. Toko was there. 6.
By the way, she got blown the fuck up at one point.
Multiple times. I'm actually realizing Toko gets blown up a lot in this series. Dude, I'm not sure why. Durable. She is like she fucking survives it all. It's crazy.
I love it.
So yeah, it's those survivors. Like the final trial is like those people against Junko. Junko loses, Junko dies. Like actual Junko dead at the end of
and she honors it. She goes through every single punishment. She's like, all right, yeah, fuck it, that was the deal. Let's do it. Like I will say, I give her a little credit for that. That's kind of badass, kind of a goat move, you know. Yeah, you know, man of your word, woman of your word, I guess.
Right.
Cool.
But again, but that's kind of the thing about Junko too, because like again, Junko, like the Joker, it doesn't really seem all too concerned with her own survival. Again, it's more about just like filling the world with despair. Yeah, and and also she has like backup plans upon backup plans, which you kind of learn more about as the series goes on. But that's Danganronpa 1. The survivors get out of the school. They see that the world's gone to shit, and you know that that's kind of where it ends, but it turns out they join this foundation called the Future Foundation, which supposedly is trying to fight back against this ultimate despair, yada yada. So Danganronpa 2. Or is there something you wanted to say about 1?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was just going along with you.
Yeah.
Emphasizing.
Okay. So Danganronpa 2, again, it's very similar, at least in the beginning. You're playing as Hajime Hinata.
Hajime.
A protag McProtag, who's luckily not as much of an idiot as Makoto, but he's the same thing where he's just like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm in a reserve class. I'm just kind of a nobody, nothing, yada yada.
But the one thing I like about Hajime, he's that person who's just like, well, I don't want to do that. He's kind of like, I vibe with that. Throughout like the whole game, Hajime's just like, I don't know about this shit, man. Like,
I feel like Hajime does a better job at like being a like self-insert kind of like surrogate character where like he kind of says the things you as the player are thinking, which Makoto didn't do. Makoto the whole time is just like fooled by everything in the game. Like even if you the player are like, oh, I get what's going on here, Makoto's just like, I don't know what's happening, but I trust you.
Yeah, like the halftime, like as they're explaining, so I feel like Makoto's just staring at a wall, like what?
Can you say that again? Like, I was. Can you just repeat yourself 1 billion times, please? Because I'm confused.
Dude, and there's this one, I swear, not to quickly jump back to 1, but there was a moment where I literally, kid you not, Monokuma explained something like 13 to 20 fucking times to Makoto.
Yes!
And he still wasn't
it's the thing about how there's like, there were like 15 students, but there was one more, so there was 16 students.
Yeah!
Like, that had to get repeated. I shit you not, like 10 times.
And I had to keep reading the line.
Yeah, well, again, if you haven't seen our Danganronpa Zero, again, I highly recommend it. It was very fun. It was a journey. We voice all the characters, but like, it was a fucking bit by the end of it, where like Brian would see that he has to read this line again, starts like sighing and just really phoning it in, and like me as Makoto, I'm like, oh my god, really? 16 students? I didn't know about this.
There were 15, now 16. God, I hated that.
Another big complaint about the series is they repeat a lot of the same stuff over and over.
A lot of circling back,
yeah.
A lot.
But
anyways, back to 2, sorry.
Yeah, Danganronpa 2. So, again, very similar premise. Hajime starting school at Hope's Peak Academy, yada yada, gets like knocked out or falls asleep or something, and then wakes up on a beach? What?
Hey, you know what? I'll be down for that. You pass out, wake up on a beach, I'm like, all right, bet, hey, this is my new life.
Yeah. So Hajime and his entire class, they're on Jabberwock Island. They wake up here, and they're like, we don't know what the fuck's going on. But this...
Which, what a cool name for an island, Jabberwock, like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I dig it. It's good. Danganronpa has a lot of references to a lot of other things, like tons of like DBZ references, like you said, Alice in Wonderland. Sonya Nevermind is an entire fucking Nirvana reference, like
like
tons of references.
Especially in 2, I feel like 2 really shine with the references.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, I'll say this right now. I of the stuff we've played, I think 2 is definitely my favorite of the games.
2's fun a lot. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Then I love Sonya and Sona.
Oh yeah, well, like even the characters in 2. I don't know. I loved all the characters in 1 as well, but I think 2 really shined. It just kind of felt like more like refined, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I do got to ask you though.
Yeah.
Since we have played all these, well, maybe I'll ask you at the end of all this. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Stay on track. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, then there's this other like female Monokuma looking thing called Monami, but she's all like happy and about joy and love.
Joy, love.
Yeah, and she explains like we're here on like a class field trip to learn to like love each other and have fun and everything's great. And you, the player, sitting there like, yeah, fucking okay.
Yeah, right. We're calling the shit out like no.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Things are not as it seems, and there's another killing game here.
Whoa!
Yeah. Whoa! Who saw that coming?
Oh man.
But I know I'm really speeding up to this one. We'll talk about more of the details, because the thing is that the 3 anime also kind of like explains a lot of this stuff, and
it like intertwines
because it's 2 different arcs.
Everything.
Yeah. So sorry if I'm really speeding this up, but what it comes down to is you're actually in a simulation, right? Like this isn't real life.
It's all simulation.
The entire class of Danganronpa 2 is hooked up to this fucking computer VR thing that's supposed to work as like a therapy thing, right? It's supposed to like reprogram them or yada yada.
Yeah. Like some Halo Ghost in the Shell shit.
Yeah, so all the people who quote unquote die in Danganronpa 2 don't actually die. Well, I guess other than like Chiaki's actually dead, right?
She's actually dead because like what was it, like something about her was like programmed in like from Hajime or something like that.
Yeah, well, so because like
somehow she got in
Chiaki
there.
is like actually like an AI of some sort.
Yeah,
well, I don't know, maybe not. Like maybe did her consciousness get uploaded? I'm trying to remember what the explanation was.
It was something about Chiaki somehow got in, and she's like attached to Hajime, so now she's like part of Hajime.
I guess I don't really know, but like
that. I'm trying to remember. I apologize.
Yeah, it's all kind of blurry, but
there's a lot of moving parts.
Well, and it gets more complicated as it goes on. Like I made a lot of like references to Metal Gear Solid, watching and going through all Danganronpa because it really, in a lot of ways, it's a lot like Metal Gear Solid, and it gets like arguably needlessly complex, and it's got a lot of moving parts. I mean, it's all very interesting, but it makes you wonder like what exactly is the point of all of this. But no matter what, the actual students in the class for Danganronpa 2, they're all hooked up to this machine. Everything they experience is in a virtual world, and the original purpose of it was to rehabilitate them. But, Junko's consciousness got uploaded into the same machine, hence why Monokuma showed up and why they were forced into another killing game. Because this is just another part of, like, Junko's fucking really overcomplicated plan to make despair. Because she... but it's an anime spoiler. I'll get back to it. But yeah, by the end of it, you're again fighting with like Junko's consciousness, and
which
then,
is like a big AI. It turns into
huge
like
AI.
big,
like her boob's even bigger now, and in your face. Fucking Makoto, Byakuya, and Kyoko upload themselves into it so they can help everybody out. Hajime
like
goes
Digimon.
Super Saiyan. Like Hajime literally goes Super Saiyan.
Dude, it's cool. Hajime,
it's rad.
Hajime's kind of the goat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
No,
fuck
like
with Hajime.
Hajime's like literally the biggest badass in this entire. Yeah, like he's actually like Danganronpa Deadpool, where he has like all the powers. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll explain more about that because. Fuck. Yeah, so whatever. They beat Junko's consciousness and like they're all out of it and yay, happy ending. So Ultra Despair Girls happens. We play that game.
Oh god. Yeah, okay. This game, out of all of them, probably my least favorite. Not that it was like slow. Well, plot wise, I thought it was okay. It was okay. Granted, I like the murder mysteries, I think, more.
Totally. Like, that's, to me, the most fun about the Danganronpa series is the murder mystery aspect. Because, like, in both 1 and 2, whenever we were doing an investigation, you and me would, like, theory craft on what we thought happened.
God, yeah.
You know, we would be like, well, here's why I think it's this character, here's their possible motivation, here's how they possibly did it. And sometimes we were close, sometimes we were completely off, but that's what made it really fun, right? Because I think there were times where our theories, even if they weren't right, I think they made a lot of sense.
They did. They really did. God, and that's what I really loved was just like being able to do that and like analyze these characters, like literally listen to everything that they are saying, breaking it down. It's just, and I just felt like in this one, you're following the story of Hajime's sister. She gets put into this. Well, no. I'm sorry. She's been in this town called Towa City. That gets
Makoto's sister. Just quick correction.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Makoto. Sorry. And like these Monokuma start attacking, she has to fight her way out, and then she finds Byakuya. He shows up there and is just like all like Leon Kennedy, get down, shoots the Monokuma.
Take this megaphone gun.
Yeah. So then he gives it to her, and then she runs through the city, finds Toko, and then they start, trying to save the city. Adults are hiding. Then this tall man, long black hair, played by Alex Mercer, found out he's a pedo.
Matt Mercer.
Yeah, Matt Mercer. I'm sorry. What did I say? Alex Mercer?
Yeah.
That's a game character, isn't it? I think that is.
Maybe. Is that the guy from Prototype?
Oh my god, it is! Oh my god! Huh. Alex Mercer. Sorry. But then they find out that they were so Toa Towers manufactured the Monokumas, I guess. They were building them, and then they found out they were building a big one. Which, mind you, there are crazy children that were, like, killing adults, and these big, like, I guess the 5 children. And Monica, she's kind of the really important one. You just gotta remember her, Monica. Mike's favorite character. Draw him fanfic. He loves her, especially when he's snuggling and holding her. You draw those. Those are the ones that he really,
can
really
I just a real quick interrupt here? Here's the thing that bothers me the most about Ultra Despair Girls. So for those who don't know, the gameplay is completely different. It's not like a visual novel type of game. You're literally running around third person. It's like a third person shooter kind of. The controls are a little wonky.
Which is a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
It looks so stiff.
Yeah, it just in practice it didn't work very well. I think if the controls were a little more fluid, it would have been a bit more fun.
Which we did find out that it was a PS Vita game that was, I guess, ported to the PC.
All these games I think were originally Vita games.
I think so,
because like Panic said, V3 was the first one to not just be a Vita game, so supposedly it might play a little bit better, but yeah, so Ultra Despair Girls is this like third-person shooter thing. It's kind of clunky. The story. Here's why it's kind of like a side game. Like it's important, but it's just kind of like while all this important stuff is happening, here's like what's going on in Toa City, which does matter. It's just not like the biggest deal, really. And like the main villains are, like you said, these kids, Monica leading them, and then you have all these other kids, all these kids who, were abused by adults in one way or another and want revenge or something. But really, Monica doesn't even care about all that. She's just a Junko fangirl and wants to be like the new Junko, or wants to create the new Junko or whatever.
Yeah, because she saw Junko as like her big sis.
Yeah.
And photographs everywhere of her.
So many
Junko.
photographs.
Oh my god. I saw that, I was just like...
And not a single one of Junko in a bikini. I was very disappointed.
I know. It just... wasted time.
Seriously.
Anyways.
But yeah, it's just... So here's what's weird about the game. The fact that the main villains are children is already weird, but then it deals with all these, like, heavy topics, like you said, like pedophilia and child abuse and all this stuff, but like it doesn't handle them well, and it's more used for like shock,
Yeah, it just keeps throwing it at you, be like, look, this is insane, look, this is something bad, right? God forbid someone has to deal with that. But just like for me, like, you can have all that, but you gotta give me weight for it instead of just like throwing it at me and expecting me to care, I guess.
Like either have something meaningful to say about the heavier topics you're trying to tackle, or just like allude to them, right? Because the game really tries to like shove it in your face, like, this character was molested, and you're like, I get it, stop, like, please, like, it's just very uncomfortable. It's not interesting, really. It doesn't make me care about the characters. It just makes me feel gross playing the game. And then stuff like that, you meet this one character, Haiji Toa or whatever, the Matt Mercer character, who again like keeps alluding to the fact that like, oh, I like the girls young. And then like the character you're playing as, the main character, is like, I think that's cute. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
No!
Stop it!
What the fuck is the matter with you? Like, it's just, as Panic Lizard said, it's a fucking divisive game in the community. And I see why, because like it's kind of a gross oogie game, and it couldn't even make up for it in gameplay, because the gameplay was kind of
Yeah, the only thing that I thought that looked kind of like really, really cool was when you can control the Monokumas. That looked fun.
Yeah, that was neat, because there's different... The enemies are all Monokumas, but there's different types. There's normal ones, there's ones that throw grenades, there's ones that fucking are giant balls that roll around, and you get an ability to like control them for a short period of time. That was pretty fun. The other good thing I'll say is I really enjoyed like the bosses in the game are these giant robots that are kind of being piloted by the children, and they all have cool designs. I'll say that much. Like, they look like Gundams and shit.
Yeah, dude, I really like the mech designs. Especially, I hate to say that last one, which that last fight I thought was kind of BS with the shooting.
That was really BS. I remember like that one.
Yeah, because like the cover, because I think I remember like you kept trying to like cover, like get behind things, but like somehow you would still get shot, and I'm just like, what? That's. But,
yeah, because like the final boss had like different like attacks and like openings that you would have to use your different bullets for or whatever. But there was one completely like unblockable attack where we found out because Panic told us in chat, but like you have to switch to Toko and just eat the hit. Because like Toko, you know, she doesn't hurt.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, when she gets hit, it doesn't take away from your health or whatever. So it's just like you're just supposed, because she can't attack during this battle. Like it's a totally ranged battle. You're fighting this giant Monokuma that keeps coming at you from a distance. So it's like you wouldn't think to switch to Toko because you can't attack the Monokuma as Toko. But you had to just know to do that so you could eat a hit.
Yeah,
which I thought was weird.
May I say? I think I said it in our Let's Play, but that whole fight kind of reminisced for me back in Yoshi's Island when Baby Bowser was like slowly coming in the distance. Sure. At least that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah.
Anyways,
totally.
But anyway, that fight looks. Oh yeah.
Yeah, anyways, I don't know. Just as a whole, it's luckily the game was the shortest of the games we played because just overall didn't love it. It was kind of disappointing, especially coming off of like the high of Danganronpa 2, because really enjoyed that one. 2 was
so much fun.
So yeah, that's kind of like a quick summary of the games we played up to that point, and then we on our Discord started having a watch party for the Danganronpa 3 anime, which is broken up into 2 parts: the future arc and the despair arc, and it kind of switches back and forth.
Yeah, which if you haven't watched the anime at this point, you only watched what we played, and you want to watch the anime, now would be a good time to stop this. Go watch it. It's only like, I think, 26 or 24 episodes. It's a pretty quick watch, actually. I think, 24. They're all on Crunchyroll, dub, sub, Spanish, whatever you want. It's there. And then come back and finish this. Anyway, spoiler alert is over. I'm assuming you're here to hear our thoughts. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So here's what's perhaps the real meat of this video, since nobody other than people at the watch party got to see our reactions of the anime. But so the future arc of the anime deals with like basically all the events after, you know, Danganronpa 1 and 2 or whatever. Like it's after Makoto and the survivors from the first game joined up with Future Foundation and are doing their shit. And then I'm trying to think. So
doing their shit.
Shit. Well, so we didn't mention this before, but like, so Hope's Peak Academy, they had like an offshore like second school that they were building. That,
they were like building another one. Yeah,
never was used as a school, but the Future Foundation kind of took it over and started using it as their headquarters. Yeah. And at this point, you know, the Future Foundation, you've got Makoto, Byakuya, Kyoko,
Hina.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Hina. Hiro is, I guess, a part of it, but like Hiro a part of anything? Like
he was just stuck outside the whole time.
Outside the whole time, just getting shot at by helicopters.
Which that shit was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Fucking Hiro.
The Yankee.
And then there's a bunch of new characters that we're introduced to, and you find out that like a lot of those characters either used to like work at Hope's Peak Academy as like staff, or I think even some of them.
Guy was literally head of security.
Yeah, well, there was the one. So there was the one dude who was like the dude with the katana. He was kind of like second.
I took him
like what exactly was it, like a vice president? Like, what was his role in the school?
He kind of seemed like the guy who was organizing everything. Who was kind of like there was the old man who was in charge of him, but he was kind of like, I almost want to say calling the shots, and the old man was just kind of like,
because so like
I'm the chairman.
While Hope's Peak Academy was still like a thing, there was that old dude whose name I can't remember, who used to be the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. Then you had like I guess you would say that the principal or the dean, who was Kyoko's father.
Yeah.
Then you had like
they had hat guy with the
hat
blonde
guy.
hair.
Who was just there to talk to people. I don't even know what his role was. He was
he was kind of like
there.
the voice of reasoning sometimes.
Well, sure, but like his actual job at the school, like what was his, what did he do? Is he the janitor? Like nobody knows. He was just there. He was just there wearing hats and talking to people. He was close with Kyoko's father, so I guess that's the only reason he was there. It's just nepotism. Well, it's just like Kyoko's dad was like, I don't know, he's my friend. He just goes where I go. He's just here.
He's just here.
He promised to fucking take care of my daughter if anything happens to me.
And then you had cake making girl who liked to make sweets.
Yeah.
And then her boyfriend.
Yeah, those characters, those seemed like nothing characters. Like they had purpose, but like who really gives a fuck about them? The like main trio of new characters were dude with white hair who has a katana. The dude who was the head of security, who was, you find out, in love with white hair dude who has a katana, and then also
so cute.
the ultimate like caretaker or whatever, who was a teacher at Hope's Peak Academy, who was also in love with white hair dude with a katana. Like, man,
he could have a full bed.
Dude said like everybody was just in love with this dude, and I didn't quite understand it. Because you know what? Panic mentioned this too, but he looks like almost exactly like the protagonist from Persona 4.
Yes, 100%. 100. Give him some glasses, put him this on the bridge of his nose.
Yeah,
he got it.
That's the guy. Yeah, but apparently just everybody loved him and was super like loyal to him for reasons.
Even Makoto was like, I'm developing. No, I'm kidding.
It's kind of hot. I kind of get it. I get the appeal.
And then so like basic killing game happened with them.
Yeah, so again, you know, the fucking they're at their like headquarters, offshore Hope's Peak School or whatever, and then fucking Monokuma again on the TVs. It's like, it's a fucking another killing game or whatever. And
what up, bitches?
Yeah, they all have like these bracelets that get stuck on their wrists or whatever, and
they have like a thing they can't do.
Yeah. So the way this killing game works is like they're all like players in it. The wristband tells them that they have like an action that they can't commit. So like Makoto's is he's not allowed to run in hallways.
Man literally walked.
Yeah. Well, I made a joke too, like it would have been so good is after all that, Makoto just got so used to not running that he just like speed walked everywhere. It'd be so funny. or just like rolls down on the
calves.
Like lays down on the floor and just starts like rolling everywhere.
Oh, that'd be great.
But yeah, then like after a certain time period, the bracelets like put them all to sleep, and when they wake up, they find out someone has been killed. And the initial idea is that like the whoever the killer is, the traitor or whatever, everybody thinks that they must wake up during this period and kill somebody. But what we find out later on is that there's monitors throughout the entire place, I guess.
And I mean they're literally like almost like 3 feet from each other.
Yeah, like
they're close.
Here's something I gotta talk about real quick. So I'll explain it first, and then I'll say what my problem with it is. So, after everybody passes out, whoever's closest to a monitor gets woken up, and they get shown a video that drives them to kill themselves. That'll be important later, because that's explained in the other arc of this show.
You gotta watch these intertwined.
Yeah, because it all... One thing will explain another, and it all makes sense. But,
yeah.
So, the person closest to a monitor gets shown a video which drives them crazy, and then they kill themselves. So, there isn't actually one murderer, it's the people kill themselves. Yeah. Here's my problem with that though, right? Is that like you said, the assumption is that, and from what you can see, there are monitors everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but like during Kyoko's investigation of all this, they figure out that the monitors have something to do with it. But like the way they figure it out is that like during her diagrams of like the person who was murdered, they were right by a monitor. But in theory, wouldn't everybody be right by a monitor? Yeah. Like how would you tell that that's something that sticks out? Because it's like, oh, the person who died is right by a monitor. Yeah, but so were the rest of us. I guess they must have been a little bit closer to the monitor in order for them to wake up. But like, either there are monitors everywhere, so that everyone's always by a monitor, or you run the risk of like, what if they all just decide to stay in a room with no monitors that they found, and then like nobody ever dies?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
like
question.
it just seems like a weird way to handle. Like, to me, it even would have made sense if it was like, say it was like something random or whatever, and then like their little like wrist device showed the monitor off of that or whatever. That would have made a little more sense to me, instead of just being like, whoever's closest to a monitor, which is everywhere but could also not be, who knows.
Yeah, because there's literally a shot where I actually think, as we were watching it, I think you left to go get a drink or something like that, and you left it on pause, and I'm just like, look at that, on that hallway, look at all those fucking monitors, just, you see them just like literally 3 feet from each other, just going all the way down this hallway.
And again, like sure, because like then, you know, whoever, because you could have two people, you know, sitting next to each other as they pass out, and maybe one person is literally a foot closer to a monitor, so they're the one that is awoken and then kills themselves. But like, the point is, like, if you're Kyoko, if you're somebody investigating this, how can you tell that that's something that stands out and is triggering somebody to kill themselves? Because it's like, again, everybody's by a monitor. It's what we call an independent variable. It doesn't change, right? It's not something you could say, like, wait a minute, that's different. None of us were by a monitor. It's like, no, everybody was. Like, I don't know how you would piece that together, but whatever.
Well, see, and that's the thing too that like I didn't understand either, because it's just like, if like the bracelets put you to sleep, right? You know, and they put you to sleep, and the person who wakes up goes crazy. They're kind of screaming a lot of times, because like even the Oxman, when they were showing other people doing it, they were screaming. And Oxman was in the room with Hina, Kyoko, and Makoto. And did the bracelets keep them asleep? But then my argument would be, if that was the case, then how did security guy wake up and stop Makoto then?
I don't know. I mean, I guess my assumption is, so the bracelets, they have poison in them, which if you do your forbidden action, you get poisoned and you die. We find out that, you know, because one of the characters is like the ultimate like chemist or whatever, and I guess found a way to like have some kind of anti-venom for it or whatever, because Kyoko gets poisoned for saving Makoto, but she doesn't actually end up dying by the end of it. Yeah, but
I think she like injected herself as it was happening or something like that.
Yeah,
because someone spotted some container in her hand.
But so I guess my assumption with all this is, if the bracelets had that poison in them, they also probably had a drug that knocked people out, which is why everybody passed out.
And how does security guy like wake up?
Maybe he grew a tolerance to it. I don't really know. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, like there were some in the anime. There were some inconsistencies for me, and I was just like,
well, let's be clear. There are inconsistencies throughout all of Danganronpa.
Yeah,
it's not the most airtight story. I'll say that much. That's fair enough. I'm sure it's something where they made the first game thinking it was going to be like maybe a one-off thing, and kind of left it open in case more was going to happen. Then it turns out, oh, it's successful, make more. Okay, now we can add on to it. So I don't think all this stuff was planned from the very beginning. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't feel that way.
And this is not our way of like shitting on this series.
No, I want to be clear.
We're just pointing out things.
This series is very entertaining, and I enjoy it a lot. I genuinely do like it. But again, it's not perfect. It's got problems. It's got things I don't like about it. But, okay, to change course a little bit. So while all that stuff is happening in the future arc, the despair arc kind of, like, bridges the gaps between, like, you know, the events leading up to Danganronpa 2 and stuff like that, because it shows...
Like before 1.
Yeah, it's before everything, really. Because it kind of... It shows the beginnings of, like, Junko setting all this stuff up. It culminates in seeing, like, the horrible event that the games keep referring to, you know, and it kind of explains how that happens, because like the long and short of it is that Junko, she wants to spread despair everywhere, obviously, and she at some point convinces the
ultimate like cartoonist or
well, even before that, she like convinces the like class representatives or whatever to all like kill themselves, which is the murder room that we found in Danganronpa 1, you know, because when there's a point in Danganronpa 1 where you find a classroom where clearly like shit went down, and you see that actually happen in the anime. So like that happens, and then Junko finds this one dude who's the ultimate animator or whatever. So she takes basically the footage of those students killing each other, spliced with, I guess, animation to kind of like fucking hypnotize people or brainwash them subliminally, I guess is the idea. And here's part of something that I think kind of takes away from Junko's character, is knowing that, like you and me talked about it, really it's this animator who is kind of like the main reason why all this shit happened, because it was his animation that fucking brainwashed people.
Yes, 100%.
Like, it was Junko's idea, but she didn't actually do it.
Yeah, no, yeah. She had the idea, but he's the one who made it. And which is funny, because like because even in it, he's all just like, oh, I'm the one who made it, I have to take burden for it, and yeah. But
even like you said too, which I agreed with, was it just kind of like seemed a bit like a cop-out. Because instead of like Junko actually doing things to legitimately cause this despair, it's like, oh, she just brainwashed people.
Yeah,
just magically, 100%. Just like, woo, now you're filled with despair and crazy.
Yeah, and for me personally, because I like crazy characters, they're fun, they're awesome. Yeah. But it's just like, for me, that took me a little bit out, because it's just like, dang, I was hoping she was going to be like a villain that was more of just like, no, I want to prove a point. I'm going to show you everyone is like has despair, instead of just like, oh, I'm forcing it. For me, like, I don't know, I don't see you as an ultimate despair then if it's forced. I feel like an ultimate despair doesn't need to force it. They can just, I know how to get it out. Right. I know what to do. You know what I mean? Instead of just be like, oh, subliminal messages. It's just, I don't know. Well, to me, I just found that a little...
Yeah, and because, like, they had bits and pieces of that, too. And, like, I get it. If you're trying to, like, cause despair on such, like, a grand scale, it's hard to make it personal for everybody. But, like, I enjoyed... Because, again, you know, looking back at stuff like Danganronpa 1, like, the motivations to get people to kill each other, that's all, like, Junko set all that stuff up, right? She had, like, dirt on all these people. She had people's families held captive. Like, it was very personal shit that drove people to do awful things. And that worked really well. But then when you get this grand scheme of just, like, here's a spooky video that makes you full of despair, you're just like, it's not the same. It just doesn't... I don't know. It's not interesting.
And you're just watching the class reps kill themselves. You're just watching all of it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. To me, I just didn't feel like it was quite as interesting. But anyway, that's kind of Junko's whole thing, and she brainwashes all the students of the fucking school, the like teachers, stuff like. She ends up brainwashing the old guy, the headmaster, because you find out that he was the one like behind the like last killing game that's happening in the future arc.
That Makoto's dealing with.
Yeah, that Makoto's currently dealing with. So, yeah, you know, for better, well, definitely for worse, Junko's plan works. And really the worst part of it all is she ends up brainwashing the Danganronpa 2 cast, like that class.
Yep.
Like, they think what they're doing is, you know, using their talents to, like, spread hope or whatever, but they're actually adding to the despair and doing all this terrible shit, which is exactly why in Danganronpa 2 they had to be put into the VR to be rehabilitated.
Yep.
Because, and then also, during all that stuff, too, fucking Hajime. Yeah. Dude, the first, I want to say, like, 4 or 5 episodes of the despair arc, Hajime's like doing nothing. He's just kind of like sitting outside like, I don't know, should I be here? I don't know. And like talking to people, kind of like hanging out with Chiaki every now and then, kind of hanging out with the headmaster every now and then. But the whole time he's just like, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't really think I belong here. I don't know what I want to do. And then somehow fucking Hope Speak Academy is like, that's the guy for our project to make the ultimate hope. That's the one. Hook him up to the machine and make him the ultimate hope, which ends up instead driving him crazy. And it's what is it? What's the name of like
Hero Project?
Yeah, it's like is Zuru. I can't remember all the names. I'm sorry, but it's named after like the founder of Hope Speak. And that's kind of the persona that Hajime takes on after, because Hajime kind of loses his mind and memories, and he's now this amalgamation of like all these ultimate powers. Because they were trying to like create the ultimate hope, but as a result, they made like the ultimate despair. So yeah, now Hajime's all emo and has long like black hair and red eyes. He's going through his emo phase essentially.
Yeah, he's walking around with My Chemical Romance, album. He's got the checkered, Skechers on.
Right.
He just got out fresh out of Hot Topic. He's ready. He's ready.
Yeah. He's learning about nihilism now, and he's like talking to everybody about it, like nothing really matters, everything sucks, it's boring. And it's like, dude, you were such a bummer.
Which apparently he got like Junko like hot and heavy because she was like digging all like he was flipping her and like doing all.
Junko fell like head over heels for him because she was unable to like kill or harm him in any way. Because again, he's just he's this fucking like he's like the Mewtwo of like Danganronpa. He's just this like created ultimate Pokemon,
literally,
and she can't do anything to him. And also, he doesn't care about shit, which she thinks is hot as hell.
I love it when they don't care.
Yeah. But what's funny, though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm misremembering, but he doesn't ever really do anything. Like, he hangs around Junko and watches her do her shit. And the whole time...
that one student, that's it.
Yeah, I guess so. But for the most part, he's just kind of like saying, like, this is boring. Like, he's just, like, providing commentary for what's going on. He's like, this sucks, you're boring. But he doesn't really do anything.
Which, of course, Junko gets hot and heavy.
After a certain point, you feel like Junko's just doing this stuff to try to impress him.
Do you notice what I'm doing?
See, isn't this interesting? Do you notice? No, it's boring. God damn it.
Oh, yes. It's boring. Sorry.
So...
Before we forget, there was a great, in the school arc, a great, beautiful scene where all the students get hot and bothered because they were fed drugs.
Yeah. So it's actually, low-key, it might be my favorite scene of the entire show. Not just because it's funny, but even like the beginning of it, it's like, the class is getting together. It's actually really sweet because you see the cast of Danganronpa 2 like get to know each other and become friends.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Chiaki has them all playing video games together, and they're playing like knockoff Nintendo games like Mario Kart and Smash Bros and stuff. It's really heartwarming and fun. And then Teru makes like beef stew for all of them, but I guess at some point they put in the fucking what do you call it? Aphrodisiac into the beef stew. And everyone gets absurdly horny. And it is... Wow, what a scene.
It is... Oh, God, it was so good. I couldn't stop laughing.
It's literally... It's so funny because, like, again, there's a lot of sexualized characters in Danganronpa.
Yeah.
And like it's front and center with it. It's not ashamed of what it's doing. It doesn't have to be. I'm fine with it. But like this scene is clearly just like, okay, we need a reason for all these sexualized characters to just really want to fuck and get sweaty. And you're just like, they eat beef stew with an aphrodisiac in it. Great. Like there's no reason for it to happen, but it happens and it's wonderful.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved every second of it.
It was just pure fan service, but it was funny, so I was okay with it.
Yeah.
But
anyways, back to plot.
Back to plot. So that's ultimately what the despair arc is about. Is Junko's rise to power causing despair, driving the Danganronpa 2 cast, insane to do her bidding, Hajime becoming the ultimate despair, and leading up to why Danganronpa 2 happens. And then, the future arc, the killing game with Makoto, that's really like what everything culminates to. And I'm trying, what's like... It's kind of embarrassing, but what's like the big takeaway from the future arc other than like eventually it ends, like they win?
It was just Makoto becoming the principal.
I guess so, because like I'm just trying to think of like, other than it being like the final killing game that kind of ends this arc, I'm trying to think of like what the maybe the big takeaway was just that Junko was brainwashing like that's them learning that Junko brainwashed everyone using the video, and that included the headmaster and stuff. I guess that was the big thing they learned there. But yeah, otherwise basically everybody dies other than our Danganronpa 1 survivors.
And then Swordman. And then Security. Which can I point out, like, Security Man kind of, at first I thought he was a big jerk meanie pants, but he warmed up to me. I thought
he was a big doo-doo head, but then he turned out to kind of be cool. So
Well, it just like I started to feel. I'll be honest with you. Like at first, I didn't like him because he just seemed like one of those like over edgy, like kind of like. Listen, I like an edgy character. Okay, fucking Vincent Valentine. Love him.
Love him. Just adore him.
They're great. But
Big fan.
him. At first, him, I couldn't fuck with him. He's like, oh god, he'd be one of those annoying edgy characters. But like, as he went on, I started feeling bad for him and just like, I don't know, man. He warmed my heart. And then when he was just sitting there turning off the lights, like trying to like help everyone, I'm like, like it was so good.
Better. He's a hero.
He was doing it all because he loved his friend. God,
dude,
that
honestly,
right there, I was just like,
both him and the teacher lady, I thought were actually really good characters because she was like the best fucking teacher ever. She was so supportive because that character who was in love with White Hair Sword Man, like she was the teacher for like the Danganronpa 2 cast.
Yeah,
like she was their teacher and she was awesome and she was hot as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like I really liked her, and she was in the last Killing Game, and she was like the first person to die.
Right away.
I guess technically second person because it wasn't the first person. The weird big dude with the child voice and big lips. It was
first her with the chandelier, and then he died.
Oh, and then he died. Okay,
and then Ox Man, Daddy Ox Man,
Ox Daddy.
Yeah, Ox Daddy.
Yeah, I really like that teacher character. She was really sweet and wholesome, and it sucked that because you find out in the Despair arc that she too was brainwashed.
Yeah, and then she, what was it? Her and that too. Security got blackmailed by Junko.
Yeah,
because Junko found out that he liked him, like Swordman, and he's like no. So then her so him and the teacher lady started, I guess, taking Junko out of the crosshairs for Swordman and kept like trying to say no, she's not doing it. Even though Swordman knew, he still kept believing his friends, and he learned to never trust.
Well, see that's something that actually like genuinely kind of bothered me. Is I thought that was kind of weak that the fucking security guard dude was like, "Oh no, don't tell him that I like him." It's like, really? Fucking who cares, man? Just suck it up and just be like, yeah, no, fucking Junko's a crazy bitch.
I kind of feel like I'm not saying this in a bad way. That was definitely, I think, for like a smaller audience because here's two men almost in their 30s. They're like, who cares what people think about who you love, man? Just love someone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not even gonna try to like get into the politics or like the social beliefs of the people behind Danganronpa, but there's stuff like that I feel like just seems really dated, where it's just like, can you believe this guy is in love with another guy? How scandalous. And like, here we are, Year of Our Lord 2022, and we're like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that didn't really work for me, unfortunately, but
the samesies. Yeah. But
listen, I'm not, I as a straight cis male, I know I'm not the best person to talk about that issue. I get it that people should be able to come out on their own terms, and I know it would suck if someone blackmailed you and just be like, hey, I know you're gay and I'm going to tell the world. Like, obviously that's a shitty thing to do. I get that, but like 100%, in the case of this series where Junko's a fucking psychopath and is causing people to go insane and murder each other, like I'm sorry, if it were me, I'd be like, fine, tell people I'm gay. I don't care. You got to go down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care. Do what you gotta do.
it just, it was weird.
Yeah, it was a little weak sauce.
Yeah,
but
that's again because I did like this anime quite a bit. I did gonna say I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, but there's a lot of stuff like that I thought was kind of weird. I think it took away from Junko's character more than it added to it.
Samesies.
Yes, I don't know. So I have mixed feelings about it. I had a lot of fun watching it, but there are things about it that I'm like, I think they could have handled it differently and better.
Yeah, I agree. But well, real quick, I don't know. Did we finish the arc? Oh no. Well, by then, like students, they go into the simulation. You said that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's little details like here and in there. Like, again, the point of this is not to summarize it scene by scene. We're just kind of talking about how we feel about it overall.
Yeah, true.
So if there's something specifically we didn't talk about, I apologize, but this is just more for anybody who's been watching or wants to watch our Danganronpa series and they're curious about our thoughts on the anime as well. This is more like, hey, we watched it. Here's how we feel about it all. And again, overall, I think it's good. Like, if I... How, including the anime, how do you think you would rate all the games and the anime in terms of least favorite to favorite?
My least favorite would probably be Ultra Despair Girls.
Yeah.
Then I would probably put the anime, the first game, and then number 2.
I think that's exactly where I'm at too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, the anime was good and enjoyable, and I liked watching it. But the first 2 games are different because again, that murder mystery stuff of getting to be involved with
it's
it
so
and
good.
Stuff like that. That's plus me and Brian love voice acting as all the characters, and obviously we made jokes during watching the anime, but we couldn't really do it during that. And Ultra Despair Girls only had a few moments where we could voice act, and it was really just the 2 main characters and occasionally a side character.
And sometimes the dialogue was out of the blue, and it would catch me off guard because I'm just like, oh, I have to talk now. You're gonna read that one sentence? Got you. Okay,
most of it was voice acted, and then sometimes it would just not voice act, and it would flip flop back and forth. It was really weird. I don't know.
There are moments where you thought it would be,
But no, I agree with you. I think Ultra Despair Girls was my least favorite. The anime I really liked, but not as an experience, not as much as the first and second games. Second being the top because. Yeah, I just think the overall scenario and characters of the second game really won me over.
How 2 handled everything I think was really good. Plot-wise, character-wise. I don't know, it was good. It was a good time. It was probably my most enjoyable ride.
Yeah, well, and I liked the, gameplay loop of being on this island, or at least this, multiple islands, and you opened up more as the game went on. And you could actually, run around. You got a little Neopet that you could level up while you're doing it, and I don't know. It was just kind of fun. It had a good vibe to it.
Yeah. Oh, so what I wanted to ask you earlier. Now that we're kind of towards the end, and now I'll ask you. Now you can. I'm gonna say you can only pick one, and I know this is gonna be really hard because I'm trying to figure that out myself. Who is your Danganronpa waifu? I know. This is a hard one. I'm between 2 people, and it's so hard.
I think I have to go with Kyoko. I think I have to.
Yeah.
Kyoko, here's the thing about Kyoko. She's, just in terms of, as a person, she's, one of the strongest characters in all of, Danganronpa. She's been through so much shit. She, sometimes appears to be in, rough situations, but, she constantly knows what she's doing, and she's, protecting the people she cares about, especially, Makoto and stuff like that. She's... Even if there are times in the first game where you're just I really don't know about Kyoko. I'm just waiting to find out that she's actually a terrible person.
Yes.
But she isn't. Even if there are moments when you feel like she is, it's because she's doing it for a good reason. She's always doing things for the right reason. She's incredibly smart. She's, honest to God, she should have been the fucking main character in the first game, because Makoto's over there I don't fucking know what's going on, and fucking Kyoko's piecing it all together. Me and Brian Kyoko gets it. She's on the same page.
She knows. She's catching on.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Kyoko a lot. I think she's great.
Same. That's mine too. It's just, I don't know. Kyoko is just. I like that she's always analyzing, always processing and figuring it out. To me, her brain never stops working, and I like that about her.
Yeah,
she just, man, when she was dying, I'll be honest, Mike, I literally sat there. I'm I don't know if I can watch more of this, man.
Yeah,
I just took out my main.
But you know what I will say too, because I also like Chiaki quite a bit too, and I know I think Chiaki, from what I've seen, is a fan favorite character. I think people really like Chiaki, but
Chiaki,
she's almost too wholesome, I think, for my personal I like that Kyoko has a bit of darkness to her.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe that speaks to me as a person, but Chiaki's just literally like pure wholesome. Like, I like video games. I like helping my friends. Like, she's a wonderful character, a wonderful person. I would love to be friends with her. But Kyoko's the waifu.
Kyoko's the waifu. All right. Then my last question: who's your number two? If you can have another one, if you can.
I'd probably go with Akane.
I had a feeling you're gonna pick Akane.
Well, again, Akane, for those again who don't know, she's literally female Goku, like 100%. She's like extremely hot, has like a perfect body, is a total like goofball, just loves like training and eating, and like, and again, she's another character too who like she's naive. I'll put her that way. She's like Goku in that she's naive. So sometimes she can come off as rude, but again, she's not a bad person. Like, she's one of the few characters in all of Danganronpa, kind of like Chiaki, who like has not like, there's not even a drop of evil in her. She's just like this pure fucking like, I just like fucking doing shit and working out and training and fighting.
She kind of reminds me of like a very happy puppy. Just very happy. Loves life, loves doing what it's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She added so much levity to Danganronpa 2, which I really liked. And I was very surprised that she made it to the end of that game.
Yeah.
I did not think she would. Like, I really didn't.
I did not think so either. And I almost want to say they did like a fake out where I thought, what was it? She like ate something or something like that? Yeah.
Well, there are numerous times that they did it, because they did that one where Nekomaru had to sacrifice himself for her, because she was literally about to fight Monokuma. And then Nekomaru, like, they literally did like a Piccolo Gohan thing when, Nappa shoots Gohan and Piccolo jumps in front of it. Like, Nekomaru does that for Akane.
Yeah, and then he becomes Mechamaru.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, Akane is great. She's great, too.
Who's your number two?
I'm curious. I bet you can guess it. I feel like you could.
Sonya.
Yeah. Miss Sonya. It's her bubbly personality, the happiness.
Yeah.
She just, God, she won my heart. Now I know what Soda sees.
Guys, please, this isn't me just like trying to plug our own shit. It's just genuinely hilarious, because in our Danganronpa 2 playthrough, Brian voiced both Soda and Sonya, and also Gundam as well.
Oh my God, I did!
You voiced all three characters in that love triangle, because like Sonya loves Gundam and Soda loves Sonya, and Brian really likes Soda, so he's like rooting for Soda while also dropping the ball as Soda, and then him being Sonya having to deny Soda. It's oh my God, it was like my favorite part of that series. It was so funny. So funny.
Dude, I'm actually really glad that worked out the way.
Yeah. And I gotta be clear, because again, we go into all of these games completely blind, completely fucking blind.
100%.
And like on the spot, we decide to give like I'll voice this character, you voice character. Like the only thing that ever remains the same is like I always voice the protagonist and Brian always voices Monokuma. But other than that, with any new character that comes in, we're just like, you voice this one, I voice this one. Brian usually voices more girl characters, but otherwise there's really no like hard or fast rule to it. So it's funny when shit like that happens, where you get these three characters in this love triangle and Brian voices all of them. and like Brian has like a stake in it because he wants this character to win, but he also likes this other character. It's like, I
have Gundam, the cool like fun character. It's just it's like fuck.
Really, really funny. And I'll say I'm curious how it's going to turn out with V3, because in both 1 and 2, by the end of it, because again these characters die off, but by the end of it, I feel like there's been a pretty even split with like our characters that we're voicing still being alive. Like it worked out surprisingly well. Because it could totally happen, dude. We have no idea. Maybe by the end of V3, maybe the only characters alive will be the ones I'm voicing. We have no fucking clue.
I know, and I'm so curious how
and
this is gonna
I don't even
go.
know how to handle it. Like if that happens, I feel like we got to do a recast or something, because I feel bad if it was just me talking to myself all the time. Because the good thing about me voicing the protagonist is we always know they're gonna make it through to the end.
Yeah.
So it's like, at least I know I'll always have one character I get to voice, but like for you, it's like, who knows? I mean, but I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be Monokuma or a Monokuma equivalent in V3, so at least you'll have that. But
I won't lie. I look forward to the Monokumas.
Yeah,
like,
dude, fucking, and you
I can't wait to see what the new
nail
one's
the
gonna be.
voices. Like your Monokuma voice is incredible. Your Monami voice is incredible. Like you kill it with those voices, dude. I love it.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate it. I hope this new one will be cool. Like better than the one that was in Ultra Despair Girl. That Ultra Despair Girl had a cool design. Hated the fucking voice. Hated the voice.
So bad. So bad.
Oh God. It was just so nasally and like I'm just like, oh God, stop.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
can't win them all.
Anyway, I guess to sum it up, we have really enjoyed this Danganronpa journey. We're gonna move on to V3 in a couple weeks. As of recording this, it is the Thursday after our last watch party of the Danganronpa 3 anime. So we're going to be playing the Stanley Parable for however long that takes. It's not a very long game from my understanding, so it might only be a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we can probably... So this game... well, I'll tell you more on the stream. But,
so,
yeah.
We'll see how that goes, but then when that's done, we're going to move on to V3, and we hope that if you guys haven't been keeping up, that you will with that. You know, it's fun. It's fun to be there live, because, again, we talk to people in chat, and they get to see our reactions as they happen, and a lot of fun jokes. Like, a lot of inside jokes and memes have come from the Danganronpa games. Like, if you don't know what "it's a chicken" means, then you're missing out. Like...
or whenever I go, what?
It's been a good time, and like you know the small community of people that have been watching us play through the games. I don't know, it's been great, and we hope more people will be a part of it. So please, I encourage you all to come watch if you haven't. If you just found this video randomly and you're like, who the fuck are these people, and what are their thoughts on Danganronpa, come watch us play V3. It'll be fun, I promise. We do those Thursdays. We call them Dangan Thursdays, 7:30 Central.
It's a good time. Come have fun. You'll love it. You'll thank yourself. You thank your family. You thank your grandparents. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And hey, like it's fun. Like if you're already a fan of Danganronpa, it's always fun to watch new people experience it, right? So
right. Yeah.
Come watch us experience it.
And then I will say, if you've been watching this whole time with us and you're actually wondering if you should play through Dangan, I say play it. I say definitely play through it. But play through the series, watch the show. You'll have a good time. Honest to God, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, I recommend it. Danganronpa is a weird series. It handles some difficult topics, and it doesn't always handle them well. It's it's far from perfect, but it's definitely entertaining. And
it is.
If you're a fan of murder mystery stuff or anime with like darker premises, I think it's probably right up your alley.
Yes, definitely.
And if you're a fan of Metal Gear Solid, because it gets very Metal Gear Solid.
It does. It really does. And I would even argue a little Kingdom Hearts. We'll do this together with my friends.
Totally.
We'll always accomplish this together.
It actually, dude, if you like fused Kingdom Hearts with Metal Gear Solid, I think you get Danganronpa.
You know what? I think you're right, actually, on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The characters are very flashy like Kingdom Hearts. Plot's very complex like Metal Gear. Yep. I see it.
Yeah. So that's this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and that's all I got.
Yeah. And hey, while you're here, why don't you go look at some other stuff? We got a bunch of other little goodies.
Look at our shit.
Yeah, we got like let's plays and music and skits and Obama. There's a lot of things.
And Obama. I'll say this: if you enjoy the premise of watching us like play games where we're like voicing the characters and stuff like that, not only are we going to be doing more of that in the future with not just Danganronpa but other games too, but also there's I played through all of Night in the Woods. I was voicing the characters there. People enjoy. In fact, I'm pretty sure Night in the Woods is how Panic Lizard found us and suggested us to do Danganronpa. So if you've enjoyed our Danganronpa series, you have the Night in the Woods series to thank for it.
There you go. So go watch that. Give that some love.
Recommend that. And also, we do an anime parody on this channel called Fyrom Anime. That's fucking goofy, but makes fun of anime tropes and stuff like that. So check that out too.
It's good soup. You will have such a great time. I promise you.
Okay, that's it. That's it for plugs. I'm gonna leave now.
All right.
This video will now just be another hour of just Brian here alone.
Oh, yeah. But hey, thank you everybody. We'll love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Stay frosty.
Danganronpa.